Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am continuing my top 2022 products, and I'm doing bronzers and blushes in this video. I've decided to combine them so we won't be here for forever. These are my most used products in 2022, not necessarily released in that year or the best in my collection. It's just the products that I reached for a lot this year, and yeah, I try to narrow it down. I think I have an exception to every single category, so it's probably like 6 in each category. But let's start with bronzers and contours. I've decided to combine them. The Westman Atelier contour stick is one of my most used ones. This one is in Biscuit, and this is the one that I personally use to contour. However, I've been also using the Truffle color to bronze up. So I put the contour first, and then I take the Truffle and kind of dot it all over the face wherever I want to bronze. And I like the way that combination works. I think it's a very flattering. The formula is incredible. I think this blends in the best out of all my cream bronzers, even better than the Charlotte Tilbury. I think they are very expensive. However, I've had my Biscuit for a very long time, and this is pushed all the way down, and I have used it so much. So, I mean, it'll last you a long time. I mean, that's all I have left now, but you know, this will last me probably another year, honestly. I'm pretty sure these were a favorite last year as well, and I have a feeling it will be for a long time. Moving on to some new discoveries this year. This one is the Nars Laguna, the bronzing cream. And this was a surprise. This was released probably more than a year ago first, and they took it away, and then they came back with multiple colors, and I fell in love. I did not expect to like this. It's a very matte, kind of thick, and it's more of a very intense colored cream. It blends in really nicely, but like when I swatch it, look how intense that is. It's definitely intimidating, but they do blend in really well. It stays matte on the skin, and it stays all day. Very impressed with the longevity, the blendability. I really like the color and the intensity that it has. Because of that, you kind of have to be a little careful. If you over apply, you could be extra bronzy. But that was a really good discovery for me this year, and I have reached for it over and over again. I usually use this when I'm doing a full bead face. So if I have a lot of eyeshadow or I want a good bronzer / contour, I'll go heavy with this, and it works so well. It's funny because most of the time when I use this one, somebody asked me like, oh, what's your contour? Or like your makeup looks really good. So it's this one. There is a pattern here. I definitely like cream bronzers, and this is no exception. This is probably my most used cream bronzer in my entire collection. This is the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate Sculpting Intensity 1. I personally do like the highlighter and the bronzer. I use them both, but you can definitely see that the bronzers has a huge dip in there. I'm surprised I have not hit pan because it's really in there. And I've used this so much. This is my second intensity one. I've already gone through one, the cream bronzer, before, and I think it's excellent. I've been using it for years, many years, and I think it will always be in my collection. It's another one of those, like the Biscuit from Westman Atelier, that I don't see it ever being replaced or me not having or owning it in my collection. And this is fabulous. It is a very creamy and emollient. I really like the color. It's a little bit more of a yellow undertone, but it works for me. They came out with different colors as well, and it's fabulous. It blends in super fast. It's a very creamy. It's not setting like the Nars sets like matte. This still has the luminosity to it, but it's not glowy, and I think it is exceptional. An arm and a leg, of course, it's Tom Ford, but well worth the money, and in my opinion, probably the best and most used just bronzer in my collection. The last cream bronzer that I want to mention is one that I discovered this year and fell in love. The second I put it on, it was like love at first application. And that is the Makeup by Mario Skin Enhancer. And this is in light medium. This is the most unique formula. It is very blendable. It's very natural on the skin. When you touch it, it feels like you're touching cold butter. That's exactly how it feels, but it doesn't get obviously that oiliness. And it gives you the most natural, beautiful bronze slash contour. I want the medium shade. I should have gotten it during the sale because this for me works. I can make it work as a bronzer, but also a beautiful contour. I love this product so much. There's something about it that makes you look so fresh. You can wear this without foundation. You just put a little bit to contour your face, to give you a little bit of color. It really is a skin enhancer. I put it in the category of bronzers because that's kind of how I use it, but really it is a very unique, very new and innovative formula that I think deserves so much praise. I wouldn't say that it's my most used just because it's very light in coverage, so you don't get a lot. But when you want that no makeup look, it is fabulous. It's fantastic. I think he did such an amazing job with this one. He had many releases, but honestly, from everything that he has, this is my favorite product that he ever came out with, and that says a lot because I do like Makeup by Mario. I'm going to mention two powders. This is cheating, but this is my number, I guess this would be the fifth favorite. This is the Victoria Beckham in the bronzer in number 2. And I mean, I reached for this all the time. Sometimes I feel like I want to almost powder my bronzer down if it's a cream one, so I go for something like this. It just works really well. The powders are so incredibly soft. I like the colors. I usually just combine them, but you could definitely, pick the one that fits better for your skin, and I love it. I think because it's a completely matte and it works so well, it's not too intense, but it blends in extremely well. It's kind of a no-brainer for me. I just reach for this when I need a bronzer. When I'm in a rush, and I want a powder bronzer, it's this one or the next one all the time. Every time. There's no fuss. It's good. It's blendable. The colors work. The packaging is wonderful. And it's right here. It's always here. But the next one is the Charlotte Tilbury. The reason why this is an extra is it's so big. And so because of that, it gets kind of stuck at the end because it can't stand up. So I still reach for this a lot. I will intentionally go out of my way to reach for it in the back of the bronzers because I like it. It's kind of the same thing, no fuss bronzer. It's a matte, good, buildable bronzer. It's not too intense. This is in the shade medium and it's huge. I mean, it's the size of my face almost. And I think anybody could use this bronzer, just like Victoria Beckham. They're kind of similar. I think Victoria Beckham is even creamier than this one. It's finelier milled, and this one is slightly drier than the other one, but it still works really well. So those are my most used top favorite bronzers of 2022. Let's move on to the blushes. I have here 6 again. I don't know. I just couldn't help myself. Let's get one out of the way that everybody knows. It is the Gucci blushes. I have fallen in love this year with these blushes. I have here 4 of them right here, and I have a feeling I will own all of them eventually. My favorite right now is definitely the Rosy Beige, which is probably my most used just because it works for this time of year. It looks a very cool tone here, but on my skin it's more neutral. Yeah, it's slightly berry, but I don't know, it's a weird color. I feel like on everybody it pulls a little bit different. It's this rose color, but can you see that it almost pulls a slightly berryish. But I love it. I've been using it almost daily. Another surprise is this one right here, the Silky Rose 01. I did not expect to like this one. That's the one I'm wearing today. I mean, it looks less bright pink or light pink. It looks less bright pink on my cheeks, but I love the way it works with my skin tone. I just realized I look very Christmassy right now with my green eyeshadow. It's the Lisa Eldridge Sorcery. I just added a little bit of that on top. But see, it doesn't look that intensely pink, which I like. So those two are my favorite. I also have the Warm Berry, which is wonderful. I have been using it. It's just a little deeper. And also the Tender Apricot. And I haven't used this much, not because I don't like it, because I think when I first tried all of them, this was my personal favorite. But I tried it in like the fall winter, and this is not a fall winter blush. I think in the summer it's gonna be a go-to. But yes, I could talk about these all day long. They are my favorite powder blushes that I own. They are creamy but they're powder. They're incredibly blendable. They're matte, but they have a luminosity. They're perfect in my opinion. They blend in so well. I could literally lose all my powder blushes, and if I had the Gucci ones, I would be happy. Another discovery this year for me was this Dior. This is the Rosy Glow Backstage. I know this is popular. A lot of people love it. I'm trying to open it, and it is this bright pink. It does not show up like that on me. It shows up much softer and a little bit more elegant, but it gives me that beautiful rosiness to the cheeks. And I think it's so good. I still wear it even though it's winter outside. I think it works really well for cooler undertones. Like I feel like this works so well. It almost brightens up my skin a little bit. In the summer, of course, it's like a really beautiful rosy cheek. It has that fuchsia, like neon-y element to it that makes it kind of unique, and the way it sits on the skin is perfection. So yes, I have reached for this quite a bit. I mentioned in another video that I want the peach one, and I wanted, but I'm trying to have self-control. Next one is a surprise, because out of all the blushes that I have here, and I have so many, I picked this one. This is the bareMinerals Blonzer in Kiss of Copper, and this has been so loved, mostly in the summer, fall, because I would use this all over the skin, almost like a bronzer blush thing. It is right here, and it's glowy, but somehow it works so well on the cheeks. I would put it over my eyelids a little bit, just here and here, and not even use a bronzer, and it works so well. It is incredibly creamy, and a lot of pigment comes on the brush or when you swatch it. So just be careful with that, but such a unique blush that I've been reaching over and over again, and it gives this beautiful, glowy, healthy look to your cheeks. And I like that it's a one and done. I use this for highlighter, bronzer, and blush. So you wouldn't think of that when you see this. You're like, dang, that's a coppery mess, but it works, and it's one of those that everyday kind of blush. Okay, moving on. This was a fabulous discovery this year. This is the Radiene blushes, and I have all of them here. This formula is so blendable, incredible, easy, pigmented, and you can't go wrong with these. Any color you pick from them is wonderful. My favorite are the new ones, the L'Ami and then the Désir. Again, all their colors are wonderful, but I do want to swatch these for you. These are the two new colors that they have, and look how fast that just blends in. Isn't that incredible? Even this one that's like super pigmented, blended. How fabulous is that? And it does go matte on the skin, like it doesn't have any shimmer, but it's not a harsh matte, and it blends in super easy, super fast. I love this formula. I love the packaging. I think it's quite unique, and I've been reaching for them for sure. Honestly, all their colors are wonderful. Very unique formula, definitely a very, very loved and used in my collection, and I thought it deserved to be here because they're so unique and wonderful. Next one is the Danessa Myricks Dewy Cheek and Lip Balm. And I discovered, I think this year, I think in the beginning of this year that this came, or late last year. But I adore this palette. It is so fabulous. It comes in two different colors. This is my favorite, mostly for this time of year. You can use this on the lips as well. I could actually add a little bit of this to calm down my rosy lips. I feel like they were a little bit rosy. But I love this, the formula, the colors, they look intense, but they work, they blend in, they gives a glossy finish. Like these will give you that almost wet, borderline wet look, but somehow they don't lift the foundation underneath. Now, if I have this full bead, full coverage foundation, I will not reach for this. This is more for that light medium coverage foundation, but if it's full, I probably would steer towards something else just in case it disturbs the foundation underneath. However, I think this is very practical. It's good on the lips, it's good on the cheeks. I wouldn't put it on the eyes personally, but I have issues with my foundation transferring, so I try to avoid any of that. The colors are fantastic. The formula is incredible, and it is very, very much used and abused in my collection. Now, this one is, I don't want to say an extra, like a bonus, but this is really a favorite, and it is the Patrick Ta Blushes Duo. I have two colors. She's blushing and she's so LA. I think this was my favorites last year, and for good reason, because I love these blushes. The reason they're not in my maybe top 5 and it's top 6, it's because I've reached for the other ones more. I think they were newer in my collection, like all the other blushes, and so these kind of got put away. But lately I've been pulling them out again, and I remember in the beginning of the year I was reaching for these over and over again, and they're just fabulous. I think if I were to pick another one out of those, these would be next. I like both colors. I think She's So LA is still my favorite, but She's Blushing was released, was it released this year? Maybe. But it's beautiful as well. You cannot go wrong with the Patrick Ta blushes. Didn't fully love his latest release, like the blush palette. The colors were a little off. There's some extra shimmer glitter in there that wasn't in the other formulas or the other colors. So I would steer you towards these. Like, find a color that you like. You get a blush, cream blush, and the powder, and it's fabulous. I think the formula is mistake proof. Of course, I had mascara underneath my eyes throughout the whole video. Anyway, hopefully you got over that. And these are my favorite bronzers, blushes, most used in my collection in the year of 2022. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Of course, leave me your comments down below and tell me what were your favorites and what I should try next year. I hope you guys are having a great holiday season, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.